I'm Tamala Handy with the City Communications Office, and you've tuned in to the Weekly Report. Not many cities can say they have their very own giant sewing needle, but if you've ever wondered why it's here, it represents the historic Garment District. When I was a little girl, I loved fashion, and I still do. Let's go ahead and see what's going on at the historic Garment District Museum.
Welcome to the Historic Garment District Museum. In this space, we tell the story of the garment industry that used to be in Kansas City. Its heyday was in the 1950s and 60s. We say about 1 in every 6 women's coats sold in the United States was made right here in Kansas City. Kansas City had what used to be one of the largest garment manufacturing districts in the United States. Some of my favorite pieces in the museum right now is a TWA uniform designed by Oleg Cassini, but made right here in Kansas City. We also have some Nellie Dawn pieces in the museum. Even though Nellie Dawn wasn't in the garment district, she's such a personality, and there's such a story with Nellie Dawn that we feel that it's important to tell her story here as well. And at the height of Nellie Dawn's company's existence, she was actually the largest dress manufacturer in the world. That needle out there is really interesting. It is on the top of what was known as the 8th Street Tunnel, which was a streetcar tunnel that went from the west, over the West Bottoms in Kansas City, and ended up right here in the garment district. Many of the women employed as stitchers in the garment district lived in Strawberry Hill, and they would take the streetcar from Strawberry Hill over here through the bluff and end up right here at 8th and Broadway, where they could easily and quickly get to employment. So in addition to this space, the Kansas City Museum also operates our satellite location at 800 Broadway, right across the street. It's the space that we're using for museums, exhibits, and programs while our main building, Corinthian Hall, is under renovation. We just closed an exhibit on debutante gowns and ball gowns in Kansas City. We're getting ready to open on May 18 an exhibit called Diving In. It's about swimwear fashion in Kansas City for 100 years. We're open Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you have a group tour that you'd like to book, you can give me a call at 513-0753. Be sure to stop in and say hi.
During Earth Day last week, city employees learned all about our revamped recycling program for City Hall.
So today's Earth Day, it's April 22nd. The KC Green teams usually host some kind of Earth Day event every year. And so this year, obviously, because the recycling program is being improved, we thought, why not make it all about recycling? City Hall introduced recycling ambassadors to all the floors. There's going to be 1 to 2 recycling ambassadors on each floor. And what we're thinking they will be doing will just basically be educating their floor mates about how to recycle right, what to recycle, and making sure that the signage is posted over the recycling bins so that everyone's on the same page. And again, we're getting that consistent, clear recycling program, not only in City Hall, but eventually throughout other facilities. We're here about recycling, but that's not the only thing we're talking about. We're trying to tell people to reduce and reuse. And so some of the things that you can reuse are those grocery bags, and we're giving them away here right now. If city employees or the public goes through all 4 stations, they'll either get a reusable mug or they get the choice of picking a reusable bag. So we're trying to make it fun and, get people on board with also reducing their impact and not only recycling, because again, you can always reduce and reuse before you recycle.
Take Our Daughters and Sons to Work Day is always a big event at City Hall. Kids get to work right alongside their parents and guardians and get to see all of the things that they do to make Kansas City great.
About how many kids are participating this year?
Yeah, so we had registration up to 100, which we maxed out at capacity. We had about 13 students or so who just hanging out with their parents today, having some fun, exploring, seeing what mom and dad are doing. And then the other portion of those students, about 82 students, are registered to come through our doors to do Conversation Cafe, which is that networking opportunity to explore and vision. We also have networking bingo, where they get to learn and meet each other and realize the power of working with partnerships. and then they're taking a City Hall tour. So we have 82 students registered for that program piece. We'll follow up to see how many people actually came through a little bit later, but we are expecting to have about 82 students come through our doors.
What's the most gratifying part about putting this on and running this type of program?
Oh my goodness, it's just really seeing the kids' faces and really engaging with them and seeing how excited they are to be here in City Hall. We don't get to see a lot of kids in City Hall all the time, and so to see so much youth, so much energy, so many kids excited to be here is most gratifying for me, and for them to be able to take home one thing, whether that's they met a new friend and build a great relationship, or they have figured out what they want to do for the next 20, 30 years of their life. That one thing is the most gratifying for me, and it brings me joy just to see all of their youth and energy here in the city.
Now here's a video about the Garment Museum, followed by videos about other city departments. I'm Tamala Handy, and you're tuned in to the Weekly Report. Have a wonderful week.
Hi, my name is Anna Marie Tutera, and I am the director of the Kansas City Museum. Today we are in the Historic Garment District Museum that was founded in 2002 by Anne Brownfield and Harvey Freed. And today we're celebrating both Anne and Harvey because they have entrusted this museum to the care and maintenance of the City of Kansas City, Missouri Parks and Recreation Department. Parks and Rec will now be operating and managing this location, in addition to taking care of an incredible collection of over 300 Kansas City-made garments and accessories that was once part of the Garment District Museum's collection and now becomes part of the Kansas City Museum's collection.
Hi everyone, I'm Denise Morrison with the Kansas City Museum. I'm here at the Historic Garment District Museum, which is now under the Kansas City Museum umbrella, part of our family. It's in a historic building of the Garment District. Kansas City has a very prominent role to play in the Garment District history of our country. It was the second largest manufacturer in the city and one of the largest in the country. Its garment union, Ladies Garment Union, was the largest in the country at one time. So this area on Broadway, about a several block section of Broadway, is really historic, not just for our city, but for the country. Kansas City made a name for itself in the garment district of the country by doing what's called piecework. In other words, in the past, sewers would be given a whole outfit to create, one each, and they do it the whole outfit at a time. In Kansas City, much like Henry Ford, they did it piecemeal. So one worker would do just buttonholes, one would do just seams, and then at the end, it would all be put together, the piece would all be put together. So very much like an assembly line, sped up and was much more efficient for the manufacture of clothing. There were so many businesses in the garment district, particularly between the World Wars and right after World War II. It all started leaving about the 60s when all of downtown started seeing a decline. But this great museum at 801 Broadway has some great history, some great clothing to show, all manufactured here in Kansas City, and we'd love to see you come down and visit us.
Museums often play a vital role in transforming neighborhoods and communities and inspiring really inventive ideas. We're hoping that our presence here at the Garment District Museum will help to inspire a conversation about reactivating the historic garment district for its intended purpose. We're hoping to join forces with local fashion designers and manufacturers to imagine what it would be like to have retail and workshop space here in the Garment District. For more information about the Historic Garment District Museum, please visit www.kansascitymuseum.org or call 816-513-0726.
And I want to thank you all for being here and taking time
to celebrate what makes Kansas City so special. Fountains are a source of pride for Kansas Cityans, and without the generous folks of the City of Fountains Foundation, that would not continue to be possible. Fountain Day in Kansas City is a sign of spring and new beginnings, and today is a testament as to the perseverance of the people of Kansas City. So thank you all for being here to celebrate with us.
I am really excited about what we have here. I'm excited to see the fountain go live again, that it's functioning and it's safe for our kids. We're here right outside of Swope Park, and this fountain is a very nice greeting and welcome to the community members that come, the children that play, and for the residents who have lived along Meyer Boulevard and Swope Parkway for so long.
So I want to thank you all very much for having us be a part of something that's beautiful. It's a beautiful day, and we have a beautiful fountain. One of the repairs that are one of the additions that was done to this fountain in particular was adding ADA accessibility to the fountain. So we are grateful for that. We're grateful that you all saw fit passing the GO bond, as well as doing things that are going to beautify the city itself.
This took 4 years of fundraising and planning to make this day happen and an availing possible. It's also without question the immediate neighborhood and all of Kansas City can enjoy this iconic fountain for future generations.
I'm proud to be able to talk a bit about why we're all here today, and that is to honor the man that made the Parks and Boulevard system possible in this city. Of course, we had a great leader in August Meyer, and we had the best designer in George Kessler, and we've honored them, but they would have never gotten any place without the lawyer, this man, Delbert Half. Today we have the finest Parks and Boulevard system in the country, and we certainly owe him a great fountain, and I'm delighted that his great-granddaughter is here to hear about it.
We actually have 2 great-granddaughters of Delbert Half here today.
He believed in the city, and he believed that everybody in the future should experience beauty, something that has changed me and made me a better person.
We believe in one Kansas City. Not the west side or the downtown or the plaza, but one Kansas City. We are so honored and grateful to be part of this. Thank you.
2, 1, cross your fingers.
Funds are being raised to create a place in Kansas City, Missouri to remember those who lost their lives in service to others. The Regional Law Enforcement Memorial Garden will honor lives lost in Clay, Platte, Jackson, and Cass counties, as well as state, federal, railroad, and conservation officers. Kansas City Councilwoman Heather Hall is one of the people leading the effort.
Kansas City has amazing officers who sacrifice every day in the line of duty to protect the citizens of our community. And one thing that Kansas City didn't have was a fountain or a memorial to honor lost lives in line of duty. We have 125 fountains in Kansas City, not one dedicated to law enforcement, and we decided that needed to change.
The Memorial Garden will sit on 3.5 acres of land with walking trails and benches. It will be constructed behind the Kansas City Regional Police Academy and the Shoal Creek Patrol Station. There will be stone monuments with fallen officers' names engraved on them and a technological feature to tell the stories of all the officers killed in the line of duty.
It's not just about KCPD. Yes, it's sitting behind a Kansas City police station and the regional academy, and it's on city ground of Kansas City, Missouri. But the unique thing about Kansas City, Missouri, and what I've learned since I've been going around and talking to law enforcement agencies, Kansas City's in 4 counties, Clay, Platte, Jackson, and Cass counties. And in that, there are FBI agents, ATF agents, there's Department of Conservation, Railroad Police, Airport Police, every municipality in the 4 counties, Highway Patrol, and state sheriffs, or county sheriffs. There's a lot of folks, and they work so well together that we don't even know if I'm going in one town or out of another town. We all work together.
There is currently a statute outside KCPD headquarters honoring the 119 Kansas City police officers who made the ultimate sacrifice. And it will remain there. But this memorial is unique in that it will pay tribute to officers all over the Kansas City metropolitan region. The Law Enforcement Memorial Garden will be a place for those who grieve, honor loved ones, and for the community, a place to reflect on the life lived by the officer.
While you're walking in, you'll see all these pavers with names on it, and these names are people who have served in the line of duty, not people who've lost their lives, but people who've served that we're honoring and remembering for the things they've done. And as you walk through this path, you'll come into an area where there'll be a big wall, and on this wall you'll see the names of the lost lives. And the really neat thing about it is we have some great technology. We have where you can open your smartphone and you'll be able to pull up the website, which is kclemg.org, and you'll get to pull up the different names, and it'll say the person's name, and of course it'll give the data about how they lost their life in the line of duty, but it'll also talk about how they lived, who they were they a great dad who sang in the church choir, played Little League, or what did they do, how did she spend her time or he spend his time that made them the whole person they are, because while they are a police officer, they're so much more than that, and we want to tell that story. So then you'll continue on past the wall into this garden area, and you'll walk through this really nice path. There'll be benches and trees that have memorial plaques on them. They'll be very special. And then there's a water feature down at the bottom, which way you'll be able to connect and just reflect and be there.
The fundraising campaign is halfway towards its $3 million goal, and you can help.
So there's a lot of ways people can help, no matter what you can do. If you can spend $10 on a t-shirt, or you can spend $10,000 on a bench that'll be in here, we want you to be part of it. So you can say, I helped construct this.
The city has contributed $600,000 to the project. Private donations will make up the rest. I'm Sergeant Matt Fisher. Have a safe week.